weird, like, head dance.
I love that song.
It's a good song. No, I'm not disputing that at all.
It's awesome. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Intellectual Kink.
Welcome.
I am Insidious Muse.
And I'm Service Slut.
And we have a guest
Awesome.
in the studio.
He gives great hugs.
He's a human being.
Yes.
Slave Brian.
Yes.
Hello.
That is him.
That is him.
We didn't even just fake our voices for that. It's an actual person. There is no video tonight because we respect the privacy of our guests. So should they not want video, we don't have video.
So you'll just have to use your imagination, possibly draw stick figures to go along with.
So I'm sorry,
the sound
tonight
of
we're
our
doing anal
voices.
fisting and you can't see it. I'm kidding. Slave Brian's like, what?
Didn't tell my mistress.
No, not that. We actually have, this is somebody that we've known around about the local community for a spell. And he is a mighty fine pain slut.
Yeah.
He enjoys the pain a lot, which is not like your thing, Nancy.
Hell no.
Pain is not your thing. So when sweet, lovely Slave Brian said, hey, you never asked me to be on your show. And I'm like, you want to be on the show? And I thought, what topic would be best for him to discuss? And I decided pain. Pain in all of its, variations, kind of different kinds of pain, how you process pain from beginning up through subspace, how you process it afterwards. That is really what I'm fascinated about. Do you feel that this is a comfortable setting for this?
Oh, definitely.
Fantastic. So clearly, Slave Brian affiliates himself as a slave of the S-type variety.
You don't say.
It's in the name. Go figure. It's like when someone calls you mistress. It's in the name. Not just waiting. First, real quick, you are exclusively a pain slut, or you're also submissive?
I'd say I'm also submissive as well.
Okay.
Depends on the context. For me, being a slave involves both service and masochism.
Okay. So when someone says pain slut or masochist to you, what does that mean to you?
To me, I would define a masochist as somebody who actively seeks out and enjoys pain.
Okay. And that would be you?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Now, I've been saying for a while, and whenever I teach classes and talk to people, especially newcomers, both tops and bottoms, I've been saying for a long time, there's different kinds of pain. And there's some kinds of pain that people enjoy and some kinds of pain that they don't enjoy. I mean, for example, Nancy. She generally does not like pain. However, she kind of likes the deep tissue pain, like the thuddy stuff. She's
Right.
way into that, punching, that deep tissue. But she doesn't like that surface stingy pain.
Right.
So, it's just kind of the different kinds of pain. Do you like universally all kinds, or do you have a preference? If you could carve out your favorite thing, what would it be?
Well, that's an interesting question. It's kind of an ongoing conversation between me and my mistress about the different kinds of pain and the effects that those have. And I think for me, really, pain comes on three levels. There's pain that I enjoy just because I enjoy it. And I think for Nancy, that would be, the deep thuddy, the deep tissue pain. I think most commonly in the scene, that would be like a thuddy flogging, the most universal, or maybe a barehanded spanking, right? Something the most universally appealing to people. A lot of people have pain in that category. And then there's another kind of pain that I don't enjoy on its own merits. That it would be something that, I don't get pleasure out of by itself. And that would be things like electricity is one. I used to be really scared of it, and I started experimenting with it, and it definitely hurts, and it hurts in a a weird way. It hurts in a weird way. It's kind of weird and invasive. It really gets under your skin. You can really feel it.
Really? I think it feels like a tattoo.
Really, to me, it feels deeper than that.
Oh, all right. It's
But
interesting.
then again, for me, cutting and piercing and things like that, that's firmly a number one category of pain. I enjoy getting cut and everything just on its own basis. So, I mean, a lot of this is really subjective. It's different kinds of pain are going to fall in a different category for different people. But that second category of pain is stuff that that I can take and will take for my mistress, and to satisfy her sadism, and to have that energy exchange between the two of us. And in having that energy exchange, it does launch me into subspace and puts me in a really deep physical and psychological subspace. And then third category pain is stuff that just hurts. stuff that's just unpleasant, right? Like I heard someone at a lecture say once, no matter how much of a pain slut or masochist somebody is, nobody likes stubbing their toe.
Right?
So there's certain kinds of pain, like, stubbing your toe or getting poked in my eyeball. I don't think under any
Poor Nancy.
Poor Nancy. Yeah. I don't think under any circumstances there's certain things that they're just unpleasant and painful.
All right. Well, and at any given point, should your mistress decide that third level she wants to delve into, then because it would have the energy exchange, then it would feed you in a certain way.
Absolutely. And that's been really cool for me on my journey, is that the lines between these three categories are getting real blurry. And things are moving over from one category to the other. Like caning. Caning is something that for me used to be like a category 2 thing. I would never crave it. I would never enjoy it by itself. But for the right person, I would take it. And now I just love it just by itself.
Because it's awesome.
Because it is awesome. And my mistress is really good at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you're experiencing, let's say, your favorite kind of pain, is it like instantaneous subspace? And what happens from the first, poke, prod, whatever? What happens physically to you, mentally for you? What goes through your mind and body?
Wow. Okay. Well, for favorite kind of pain, I'd probably have to go with a good flogging. Really do enjoy a good, long, hard, deep, thuddy flogging. And it's also
a fantastic workout for the top.
There you go. There you go. I think it's definitely a build up over time, and it's not instantaneous. Like, it doesn't instantaneously get me to that subspace. It takes time, and you have to have the right energy with your partner, and building up the intensity and building up the tempo over time, and then eventually it's hard to describe, really. It's just you start gaining altitude, and eventually you're just flying.
I wonder if that's like a buildup of endorphins, and then therefore that launches you into subspace. I've always been very fascinated by subspace, having never experienced it. What is this thing? It looks awesome. I've just never done it. So I always ask people.
I hear you talking about how you build upon the different levels and you slowly get to that place. From my perspective, not being a masochist, I can't imagine taking even
at this time.
Okay. I can't imagine even the pain that I do get from you. That's not crazy. Whoa, hey, let's not do that. I can't imagine taking that without having an emotional connection. I think it's the emotional connection that I get in my own case that allows me to take as much as I do. Now, my question is this. So you're committed to someone.
Yes.
Does your thermometer for pain change? Would it change if you weren't committed to someone? Do you require that emotional connection?
Oh, definitely. And that's been another cool thing along the evolution of our journey is I can really take a lot more now than I used to be able to take when we first started playing. And she's been able to let go more, and that emotional connection with the partner. And, and that plays into the submissive aspect of it. You asked earlier, is it just a masochism thing, or is it also a submissive thing? It's also wanting to be able to take that for her, for the mistress, and let her release and let her sadism, let her demons out and inflict it all on me, and be strong enough to be able to take it all. So it definitely gets psychological as well too. And to answer Nancy's question, yeah, definitely the fact that I'm committed to this person, and that I think a lot of it also for me is feeling the sincerity of the sadism. I've done a lot of play with a lot of people, and I've played with a lot of service tops, and I've played with a lot of women who aren't necessarily femdoms and aren't necessarily sadists, and you can really feel the difference. You can really feel the difference when they're just kind of doing it doing it for you and until their arm gets tired and they're watching the clock versus someone who's like, I'm going to beat you until I physically cannot beat you anymore, until I am just as exhausted as you are. You know, that's a huge, isn't it great? It's fantastic.
So when you were a free range bottom,
free range, organic free range California bottom.
I can't say you were organic, but you were a free range bottom. What was the experience significantly different for you? I mean, did it take a lot more for you to get into subspace? Was it more selective?
I've never really experienced a deep and lasting subspace with someone I wasn't in a relationship with someone that I wasn't committed to. When I was a free range bottom, with air quotes, as
that expression.
I like that. You should copyright that.
It's not mine. I don't remember who. It was years ago. Somebody said it, and I was like, yes.
It's yours now.
I take it.
Okay. When I would play with people outside of being in a relationship, it was really like it's more like scratching an itch. Needing to be beaten, and so you go and you find someone to beat you.
All right, I could see that, but it wasn't satisfying. So, and this is what I've always been saying about subspace. It requires a safe place.
Yes.
For you to go there.
Right. I mean, when I was a free range bottom, a lot of the dominants I played with were not into aftercare and not able to provide that. So, I mean, even if they do get you to that physical subspace, right? They beat you and you're there tingling and seeing the stars under your eyelids, and then she's gone.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Clean my stuff. Goodbye.
There's no way I would be able, I remember one time you cut me up. Like I had scars everywhere for like a while.
It was awesome.
Rawr.
Right. And there's no way that I could have allowed my mind to go there, to that dark place that you were at, to be okay with that.
I wasn't, just so you know, I was not in a dark place. I was in an insanely calculating, controlled place. When I'm dealing with knives, very controlled.
Right.
That's not the time for me to let it all go. That's no. That's like, hey, I might just, let's see if I push it in. No, see, that's not where you want me to go.
No. But it's definitely a place.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess maybe I go darker in that. I have to go dark in order to let that happen, because it's not something like, hey, that's not something that you do like on a fucking everyday basis. Hey, let me just cut you up in like different places just because it's fun. Like that's just
that sounds good to me.
Well, it sounds good to me too from the top side,
I think there's a lot of letting go that has to happen in order for you to be able to go into subspace as a result of pain. I think if you're constantly thinking, anticipating the next strike or, paying attention, like just not in the moment, then I think it's a lot harder to get into subspace, or at least, stay in subspace.
I agree. You definitely have to be able to let things go and not be micromanaging anything in your head anymore. Yeah, not be anticipating the next. Is she going to lift me up? Is she going to put me down? This is a little too tight. You got to let go.
Can never do it. I could always be like, oh, what's going to happen now? What are they doing? How are they doing that? What are they using? Just that.
I used to look down between my feet because I would see the shadow of whatever the fuck you were using on me. And so I'd see the shadow and be like, all right, it's coming. And that was like the worst thing I ever did for myself. Like, really? How about not pay attention to that? Just let it happen.
It's one thing I really like about playing with Morgane. She always uses a blindfold. And I really underestimated just the power of that simple thing. Because you don't have to think about where to put your eyes. And
I like that.
Yeah, you don't have to think about where to put your eyes. And even as a submissive right there, you're not supposed to make eye contact. You're supposed to keep your eyes on the floor. You're not supposed to be watching the dominant as they move around the room. So how about just remove the option? Silly slave. You don't have choices.
That's why I like that hood that we have. That Lycra hood is awesome. And little padded eye things. It's nice.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
The person that dispenses the pain. What's required? What is maybe not required for you, but maybe just something general that a sadist would require from the person that's bottoming to them. I mean, because I know you, and you require like some kind of energy exchange, even if it's minimal. But
yeah, if it's not, then it's a one-sided thing, and I'm like, I don't want to play with you again because you're a black hole, and I'm getting nothing back. It bothers me.
But is it really as simple as like, ooh, a pain slut, let's give them all the pain?
No. There's some people I don't want to touch. I don't want to put my hands on certain people. If I get like a weird energy from somebody, I don't want to put my hands on them. It's like, no, I'm just, hey, night, nod. That's awesome. Hopefully you'll find somebody to do that. You know, there's a couple different things. If it's a pickup scene, number one, I require them to ask me. I'm not going to walk up to an S-type and ask to beat them. Fuck that. They want a beating? Come up to me and ask. No problem. You've seen my skills. You know what I can do. You've seen me around. Ask. Okay. And then let's talk about limits. This is not a, mistress, would you flog me and then cane me and then paddle me and then do some anal play? No. You go pay $300 an hour for that at Sanctuary. You don't do that here. This is, what are your limits? Awesome. I can work with that. And then I pull out my plethora of toys and I can do whatever I want at that point within the confines of somebody's limits. I'm always really conservative the first time I play with somebody, though, because I don't know how they react. But I require that they trust me. And you can tell when they trust you when they let go. And sometimes people never let go when you're playing with them. And you could just tell, and it's like, it's exhausting for me. Because the point of energy exchange is that I'm giving you, there is so much work and effort that goes into topping. People do not understand. It's not just, hey, I'm going to flog you. It's not just, it's a workout. You're giving part of yourself in this process. I expect to get something back of them. It's the exchange. And if I don't get something back, it's not going to be a long scene. It's going to be a short scene because I won't have anything left to give. I'll be done. And I'll be like, I have nothing left. So sorry you didn't get into subspace, but guess what? I didn't get into top space. So guess what? We both lose. Let's chalk it up to that. So that's what my biggest thing is the energy exchange, somebody that trusts me, and somebody who's honest, you know, and somebody who's clear. I really dislike people when they come up, and I get it. It's hard for S-types to come up and tell a D-type what they like, what their limits are, but be honest. If a cane is a hard limit, tell me. Yes, it's my favorite toy. So what? I will live. But if at some point, and I've had this happen at some point in the middle of a scene, when people have said, mistress, I think I can try the cane with you. All right, let's do this. And that's awesome because that means that I've broken through some level of trust where they feel that they can trust me. All right, so we're going to try this. And we're going to see how that goes. And I love that. That makes me feel good. And then, of course, I get to cane people. Yay. So, that's it. Just be open and honest.
I'm with you.
Nobody has to get into subspace. I mean, it'd be nice.
No. Well, but see, then I think about like the implications of like, and again, this is just me because I'm not super into all types of pain, but like it would definitely be hard for me to take other types of pain that I don't like if I wasn't in some degree of subspace. Because I feel like that's like this like cocoon that kind of protects me from like just how much it actually hurts. Where like the pain is kind of dulled a little bit. Does that make sense?
I've never been in subspace, so I can't speak to this.
For me, it's a little different. Like, I wouldn't want to take a serious jolt of pain that I couldn't handle once I'd already gotten into subspace because it would shatter it for me.
Yeah, I would think that would really break you out of it.
It would pull me right out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've bought, well, now I don't know. Do I say I bought it now 4 times in my life? Because once to Julie, once to my ex-boyfriend, and apparently somebody spanked me at some point. I'm like, whatever. I think it was at a class. And then I demo bottomed at the Groove for cell popping, and I have this really pretty scar that's now developing on my arm. It's very
awesome.
Nice. It's really awesome.
Cool, by the
As did it. And I learned a lot on, specifically the one where I bottomed to my switch boyfriend. I learned a lot about kind of pain and how it felt in the process and that kind of stuff. I got it. I mean, it's like, okay, oh, I get it. And when he did things that were like, dude, come on, just fucking get into a rhythm. What the fuck is your problem? And I wouldn't ever let go. There was no subspace. It didn't happen. But I was critiquing the shit out of him the entire time. And, it was just one of those. And he was done before I was done. I was like, I could have done more. Well, what else you got? But his skill set was not as diverse as mine. So it was one of those things where, damn. But it's one of those, I think I learned a lot on that. And I want to try and experience that side of things, not necessarily as a bottom or whatever, but just what do these things feel like on a more consistent basis? Because you forget. When you're at top, you just forget. And it's important for me to understand. I'm always trying to understand.
And I'm really glad I'm on my side of things, not at top. I've had a limited amount of experience topping with ex-girlfriends, and it's a tremendous amount of work. It's a tremendous amount of work and a tremendous amount of energy, and it's the exact opposite of subspace. You have to be in control of everything. You have to know every move, 3 moves ahead of it, and be completely conscious and responsible for this other person's like, God, pass.
The problem, and part of the problem with that is all I really want to do is just kind of let the monster loose. But when you're the top, you really are in control and you're trying to keep it as controlled of an environment as possible. So I can never let my monster loose because she doesn't do pain and I don't have like a consistent pain slit that I play with where I can just, go. So I'm always kind of reeling her back. And, so I get to top space, but I always feel like it's Prozac top space. I'm not quite there. So, it's a lot of pressure. Pressure. You don't want to hurt somebody. You can fucking really damage somebody.
Yes, please.
No. Damage, not hurt. I mean, harm, like in a bad way.
Oh, okay.
Not like in a, hey, I'm going to have this scar forever. Or she's still occasionally. You actually don't have any scars left, do you?
I don't. I only have like this itty bitty little bruise from when you grabbed my arm over the weekend. That's it. That's all I got.
I have a nice scalpel scar for my 30th birthday.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Which was awesome. That was so awesome to watch.
Thank you.
It was really nice. Yeah, right?
Night, yeah.
Nothing like, saying happy 30th with, knives.
Knives, scalpels specifically.
And that is a definitive difference.
There is
it
a
is.
difference,
Yes.
How did you because I'm sure you didn't come out of the, S-type shell. All right, I'm a pain slut. So how did you, can you take us through your progression in learning how you enjoyed pain?
Sure. To be honest, I've always kind of enjoyed pain. And it was disconnected from my kink actually for a long time. I mean, I've been kinky since as long as I can remember having sexuality, being 5 or 6 years old and discovering things and discovering leather. It's all integral. It's all, my sexual evolution and my kink evolution was the same story. It's not like one came along later like it is for a lot of people. It was all connected for me. And as a kid and preteen, teen growing up, I always enjoyed pain. Little things like particularly cuts and scrapes. Anytime I'd cut and scrape myself, fall down and scrape my knee, I'd pick the scab over and over. I like the sight of my own blood. I'd like the feeling of ripping it off of my own skin, the feeling of it separating off. I would get in fights a lot when I was younger. When I was in high school, I'd get in fights, and I had no problem taking a few lumps and seeing the sight of my own blood. Like I had absolutely no problem with that. So integrating it with the kink later on in life was a really natural move. And there are certain things like cutting in particular, like the feeling of getting cut is something that I've always enjoyed. And now that I have a partner that wants to incorporate that in the kink, it's so incredibly powerful. Like I think out of all the S&M play that we do, probably cutting is the most powerful for me. It takes me to a physical subspace really quickly, and it just does something for me. It does something for me mentally to be cut open and see my own blood. It does something that nothing else does. So does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. However, I mean, so I hear you, and like that sounds awesome. That sounds really awesome. I think what I want to know more in detail is like, you know, was it something where, you know, you played for the first time and you realized, okay, yes, give me all of the things.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that had to do with the evolution of being connected with more sincere dominance over time. And I mean, for a long time, I got my S&M needs met through the confines of a vanilla relationship with a girlfriend who was essentially submissive, but would service top and would do these things. And that's how I got these needs met for most of my 20s. And once that ended, and I started playing with people who, were sincerely enjoying what they were doing, there were certain things they wanted to do that I might not have thought of. That I might have thought, hey, that sounds a little scary. That sounds a little beyond my pale of what I can tolerate. And over time, learning the value of being able to take pain for a dominant, that was something that really came for me in the last few years when I became active in the community and became a free-range bottom, playing with lots of different tops, and feeling that, you know, that's that sadomasochistic energy exchange and connection developing even on small scale with different play partners. And then with the play partner I have now, who is the most sadistic woman I've ever met, the most sincere sadist, with possible exception of present company. I don't want to downplay Mistress Heather's sadism.
That's okay.
Got to remember where I am. Whose house am I in? But with her specifically, the power of harnessing that masochism and harnessing that ability to deal with large quantities of pain and feeling what it does for her and knowing what it does for me and feeding off of each other, it's really powerful, really deeply spiritual in a way.
Wow. That's pretty deep.
That's awesome. No, I mean, I think that I think is what a lot of people, to what a lot of people aspire when they're dealing with kind of going through the dealing with the pain and processing it, and ultimately they want to have that kind of subspace, that third level subspace, where it's heightened. It's, you know, tantric, to quote an article that Nancy and I were reading over dinner. And I think that's very appealing. And the challenge I think people have, and I'm speaking for bottoms, how I speak for bottoms, I do not know, but I am, is if they're not a pain slut, I think there's a fear that, well, I have to do what Slave Brian does. I have to walk in those footsteps to get to that level. And I don't think that that's accurate. I think that people need to understand that everybody has their own thing, and you have to discover it. And unfortunately, you have to discover it by taking a lot of wrong paths. You know that you like, you know, the cutting and stuff like that, but I'm sure that you've gone through things going, oh, I don't like wooden paddles or whatever it is.
Right.
And it's one of those situations. You, Nancy, certainly have had those experiences where you're like, Jesus, that shit sucks. I don't like that. And I mean, with me, without me, whatever, before me. But you have to try it. You can't have an expectation that you're going to go out and the first time it's bam, subspace.
Yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely not.
Remember the first time that you and I played?
Yes.
It was like zero subspace for you.
Zero.
Like first 2 times, I think.
Yeah.
There was like our first couple scenes were just not like, no. Like it was like, is this how maybe this is
well, especially for a male S type, it's more like, okay, 10 times at the club, bam, I talked to a femdom. Yes.
Yeah, I guess they can be intimidating. We can be intimidating. But we didn't quit.
No.
You know, you still played. I still played with you, which was nice.
Well, yeah.
Even though there were things you didn't like.
Right.
That were done.
But I think, like, you know, it comes, and I think this is more of an individual thing where you start to learn how to process pain and the way that it works for you. So I love hearing you talk about how you take things for your mistress because you know she enjoys it. And it's such an awesome thing. So for me, like I would love to do that, you know, but then I know that, okay, my threshold is so not where Slave Brian's threshold is. So I have to learn, okay, so what do I need to do? What can I do to raise that threshold maybe just a little bit more, you know? And so one of the things that has worked for me, well, which maybe works for a lot of people, is breathing. And I used to be the person that, like, I'd hold my breath. I'd hold my fucking breath.
Yeah, and that's rookie mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kinds of things have worked for you, or what would you suggest for someone who's trying to work at processing pain?
Something that's really helped me lately is not, like you're saying, don't hold your breath. You really don't fight it. You can't fight it. You can't look at it as something that's, like, mentally, when I kind of picture it in my mind, it's not something that's being put up against me and forced into me, and then it goes into my brain, and then it stops, and then I have to deal with it, right? Like, you're getting pain signals and you just have to deal with it. I think of it as it's something that's flowing through me. It's going in my body, up through my brain. It's going to come back out as well. It's not going to stay in there. I don't have to process it. It's going to pass. You know, a cane stroke will pass. You know, anything will pass. Don't tense up. Don't try and fight it. Don't try to just grin and bear it, especially because with a really sadistic top, once they see that, they're going to go harder. Oh, what's that? I'm taking a bite and they're holding their breath and clenching. I'm going to bite down a little harder. Better if you can just open your eyes and exhale. And, you know, another thing that helps me a lot, screaming. Screaming is good. Vast amounts of pain, just go ahead and scream. Dominant likes that. They're happy. You know?
I like tears too. Tears are okay.
Yeah.
I like crying. I like it a lot.
Acceptable. Tears are acceptable.
Tears are not a safe word. No, they aren't. They're a happy word. When do you use your safe word?
Actually, we don't have a safe word. We are CNC.
Okay.
Consensual non-consent.
Okay. Snap. But for those out there that do use safe words, which is the majority of the people, when would you have used your safe word in previous relationships?
In previous relationships. I've never read it out.
Well, a lot of S-types and pain sluts will say that, but I'm just, you know.
And I think especially it's a point of pride. I
exactly.
mean, there are times at which I could say under different circumstances, I may have read it out. There was a scene I was doing with an ex-girlfriend, an interrogation scene, where I was actually tied to a chair and she was socking me, punching me upside the head, and she was hitting me in the temple, which is actually really dangerous. And I was starting to get dizzy, and I actually ended up with a small concussion after that. And it gave me now I have a thing for face slapping and being hit in the face because I was with someone who did it really, really poorly. But that would be an example of a time that maybe I could have used a safe word.
Probably.
You know?
That seems
would have been appropriate, possibly.
And you didn't because of pride?
Because of pride, yeah.
This is my concern.
Well, she went to a lot of trouble. She did. She got a hotel room. She went to Home Depot, bought a chair and some rope.
That doesn't mean it's the end of the scene, though. It means it's, hey, can you not hit my temple, please? That's it. Well, she might not have been aware.
Well, there's always that fear as the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? Especially because if you're at, say, our local dungeon where we normally see each other, someone calls a red, that's the end of the scene. That's it. The dungeon monitor will come in and break it up, and that is it. Even if the bottom and top want to keep going.
You can say yellow.
Okay.
Yellow.
There's yellow.
And
I'm
then
passing
it's like
out
yellow on punching my temple.
Yeah.
You know, that's a fair thing, you know, and I get it. And it's funny because pain sluts don't color out. They don't. And I actually like to try and force them to. I get it. That's fucked up. It's crazy fucked up. But, you know, like I had a friend, Gemini. She and I were, me and my former mentor were co-topping her. She's a total pain slut, right? And we had gone through her master had given her to us for the evening, and we fully negotiated what we can do. And he said, but the biggest bruise had to be for him. Cool, let's do that. So we had found this spot on her thigh that we were repeatedly punching and slapping and repeatedly. I mean, and I'm not a light hitter. I'm not. And I was doing full fucking swings. It was awesome. And you could just see it in her face. She was done. And I'm like, say it. Say it. And she wouldn't do it. And I kept fucking saying, and I was screaming at her, say it. And she finally yellowed. Yellowed. And I'm like, fuck, I'll take it. It was just one of those, she just wouldn't do it. And that, from a top perspective, is very frustrating. Look, we know when you're done. We fucking know, which is generally why the scene ends. Just, have the balls or the uterus to say it.
There have been times with my mistress that it's gone to a point where it was definitely a yellow point, where it was too much, went into my third kind of pain slot where I was like, oh, okay, no, that's too much. And the beautiful thing is I didn't have to color out. She could tell from my reaction. She could, there's a difference in the way a person responds.
Absolutely.
And also it kind of gets back to something Nancy was asking earlier about how pain is processed. I used to process pain into an anger place. When I was younger and pain was mostly a result of getting in a fight and getting hit or having somebody throw something at me, the reaction was turn around and, who did that? I'm going to get him back. So there's a definite anger association there. And when I first started playing publicly, I did notice that. Like when a dom would hit me too hard, I'd get pissed. Part of me that would get pissed. Like, don't hit me that hard.
Fucking bitch.
I'm not going to say that, but maybe. But
that would be an interesting scene.
That went away over time. That was a key step in my, I guess, evolution as a masochist, was getting rid of that angry response with anger and with pain.
That's a big deal.
It is. It's a huge psychological step.
You're badass.
Well, I try.
So then what did you replace it with?
Gosh, nothing. Submission.
All right.
Emptiness. A place to be filled with her energy.
That's fair. That's warm. Yeah. Happy and gooey. People are making me fucking sick.
Are you really?
So cynical.
God. This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things. It's true. This is why we can't have nice relationships. So I'm a cynical bitch. What kinds of pain would you like to try that you haven't tried?
Oh, God, is there anything left?
Yeah, that's a significant one. You've been doing this shit for as long as we've been doing it. You're like, I don't know. I'm done.
I don't know. The cool thing at this point is that it seems like in the last year or two, everything I try that's new is not something I would have ever thought of before.
Okay.
At this point, I feel like, oh, God, I feel like I've done pretty much everything I've ever thought of. The crazier... Can I cuss on this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The crazier shit that's out there. It's not stuff that has occurred to me. There are a few things, though. There are a few things, actually. I want to try some body modification stuff, like the corset piercing.
Okay.
Looks really appealing to me. I think I'm kind of working up to that in my ability to tolerate pain. And I think kind of something I've been thinking more and more about. My mistress introduced me to core. You guys familiar with core?
Yeah, vaguely.
Vaguely. They do
The
flesh hook suspension, and
Mistress
they do
Melissa.
and they do a lot of really intense blood play stuff. And she took me I've been to a couple of their things, and I think I'd like to work up to a flesh hook suspension. I think that would be my Everest, right? I mean, like my crowning achievement.
It's freaking cool.
Be able to say that I did a flesh hook suspension. I think I could. I think I could tolerate it.
I could. Sutures.
Sutures.
Have you done sutures?
I have not yet.
I would think that both you and your mistress would enjoy that.
Yeah, because that's
Somebody asked me to show them sutures Friday night.
Really?
Yeah. I'll have my stuff there if you want to watch.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know your mistress won't, but
Yeah.
she knows what they are. I can guarantee that. She probably has access to them.
Yes, I'm sure she does. It'd be fun. She could stitch her initials in me.
Correct. Stitch your mouth shut. Stitch your testicles over your penis. Lots of things that can happen with sutures.
Very interesting.
Nope.
No
Way, Jose.
My ex-boyfriend wouldn't handle it. I tried. He just fucking pussied out right in the beginning. I was like, come on.
It's kind of a... Well, but see, suturing, that seems like, I mean, aside from the pain component, it seems like it would be one of those really weird, like, mind fucks as well.
Oh, yes.
Like, I don't know, stitching somebody's mouth shut, that's kind of like... That's way more intense than, like, being gagged or having, like, duct tape over your mouth.
It's also incredibly painful.
I know. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say needle through the lips. That'd be a category 3 pain for me. Like, whoa.
Sutures are actually very different from needles. Needles are, they flow through the skin smoother than sutures. Sutures, you actually have to press a little bit harder, and then they've got the string that follows them. It's a much more intense feeling, and you can feel it vibrate through your skin when it happens. It's really, I mean, it's intense, it's intimate, and depending on how it's done, I mean, it's, wow. It's pretty fucking cool. Gemini had her pussy sewn shut.
Nope.com. No.
I mean, we're talking about awesome, right? Well, she's got like, bajillion genital piercings, so,
Right, but no, not happening.
Sutures sound fun. I think we're gonna have to put that on the
I think that would be the two of you, I think, would really enjoy it. That's what I would think. Sutures, yes.
Or you know what you do is you make a cut that's big enough and deep enough to require suturing.
Ooh.
It's been always thinking.
That's what super glue is for. Zip, super glue. It would be, I would like to talk to you about how, once you try sutures, how it compares to the other things. Because it is, like I said, there's a lot of components to it that are very different from just needles or just knife play. I mean, it's like that. It really do. You feel everything vibrate through the skin as the thread is pulled through. It's really interesting. I mean, I could feel it when I'm doing it to the bottom.
Yeah.
And it bleeds. No. I'm not going to suture you, obviously.
I know, but
no over there.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
I don't know. It's just, no. Sorry.
Wow. Well, Judgy McJudgerton.
I'm not being judgy. It's just like, I don't know. It makes me a little like squicky.
It's weird though, because you love knife play.
I know. It's really strange.
You love knife play, and you won't let me poke you with a needle. I am really qualified with needles.
I know you are. I know.
She taught my mistress how to do needles.
Right? I've taught a lot of people. I'm very qualified.
No. You know, I do want to try though, which is not, maybe it's not like, I wanted to try being trampled.
Oh, okay.
I want to do that.
All right.
I want to know what that feels like. That's never happened.
I want to be, trampled. Oh, I want to have a Chinese lady walk on my back. That's called a massage. It's true. They do that. You pay money for that. A lot of money for that. Yeah, I love to toe prints on someone's back.
Hey,
it was awesome.
That can happen.
It was really cool.
I'd like that. Let's have it.
I was like, woohoo, I got toe prints on you right there. Whereas it took forever. I was like on my tippy toes. Not having taken a shit. I was pushing my toes.
Wow. Whoa. Whoa.
Not that the video could see it, but the face
wow.
that was making the sound was very
wow.
Really weird.
We have a guess. Number one.
Doesn't matter.
Number two. People don't want to know about bowel movements at this time.
Sometimes they do. Maybe they're very interested.
It's a fetish in Japan.
It's a fetish in lots of places. Not mine, but it is a fetish. It's generally one of the more taboo ones.
Wow, we have gotten so off topic.
No, I don't think so. I mean, talking about, because trampling has a obviously a component of pain. I prefer to, personally, when I top on trampling, I prefer to do it with bare feet because of the connection. Doing it with shoes, just, I lose something. It bothers me, but but it's painful, especially with shoes.
Yeah, with heels, it's much more painful.
But it's fun.
If there's some tread on the bottom of the shoes, you do a little grinding action.
Yes, Doc Martens are good.
Doc Martens are good.
Just
There's sounds to that.
No, yeah.
How about, is there any, other than trampling, any other kind of pain things that you've seen in the dungeon you've been curious about?
Pretty things that are on the top of my list is face slapping, definitely.
I do that to you all the time.
Right, which is kind of awesome.
You do freaking out. You'd be freaking out at home over something. I'm all, bap, cut that shit out. You're like, oh, okay. It's awesome.
I don't know. I can't really think of anything because I pretty much right off the top, I eliminate any kind of pain-related things.
This makes me sad.
Well, no, but I eliminate it just because, most things thus far have not been pleasant. They're not things that I would want to do, that really provide me with what Slave Maya gets. You know what I mean? So I just kind of put them in a category. I automatically put everything in a category where it's unpleasant, unless I experience it in a way where it's not pleasant, then I welcome it. For instance, with knife play, that was presented to me in a very super sexy way. So that automatically is in the yes, let's go category. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think you got to sex up the needles. That's what it is.
I'll lick you and then put a needle through. I don't know. Does that make a difference? I can make it sexy. I could do it. I have faith in me.
I'll tell you what worked though, and what worked about knife play that first time is because there was a component of, I'm going to try something new. Do you trust me? It wasn't even that you said I'm going to try something new. All you said was, do you trust me? And it wasn't it wasn't made a big deal that we were going to do this. It wasn't this big climactic moment. It just happened. And so that's pretty much cinched it for me. Everything else, it's just been kind of it seems, it's in that, general toolbox of things to do, but I don't know. Maybe I just haven't built up to those things yet, but I want to, I do, because you get all the happy, happy, joy, and I want to give you the happy, happy, joy,
I like happy, happy, joy. Makes me very, happy, happy, joy.
There's nothing you can't tank. There's nothing you can't. It's all mental. It's all mental. If you think about the amounts of pain that people can withstand and walk away and live and be okay.
It's true.
People can pop babies out of their vagina and they walk away and they're okay.
People can have your fist in their vagina and they walk away. They even like it. Right. So it's true. Pain really is, it's in your mind. Obviously you feel it, but it really is just, firing of your, synapses, your nerves telling your brain, hey, that hurts.
Right. And the more you can fight it, the more you can ignore that thing in your brain tells you to stop and tense up, and the thing that makes the pain hurt worse. Needles are a great example. The first few times I did needle play, I tensed up and it was really difficult, and I could only take 2 or 3 needles. But then once I got into it, I was up to the point of taking, dozens of needles at a time, and you breathe. Breathing is important. You breathe through it as it goes through you, and don't let it make you tense up.
So what you're saying is that I need to take pain more frequently, so then that way I train myself to let my brain know, hey, don't flip the fuck out. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. The frequency will help. Yeah. The more you take pain, the more you can take. And it's up to you. If you decide you want to make the choice to go down a journey and say, I want to take more pain, I want to learn to enjoy pain, I want to face my fears and break through them and reach new limits, you can do that.
You can. Rosie the Riveter says. It's true.
I'm pretty sure this is not what she was referring to.
Well,
New FetLife handle, perhaps.
As a feminist, she could have meant that absolutely, because it's whatever you can do, whatever. Fuck, you can.
Fuck.
Don't be limited. I'm just saying that to everybody. It's a new year. Don't be limited. Try new things. Except for that obnoxious Twitter follower who said, like heroin, should I try that? I was like, you know what, don't be an asshole.
Heroin's not a new thing.
Well, no, it would be a new thing for me. I've never done heroin, so, and I also have no plans to. So, hey, it doesn't sound good. A Super Bowl, maybe.
Oh, try new kinky things.
Try new kinky things.
And qualify that.
Right, whatever. People are assholes. You just have to go with that. People are assholes. But,
Except for your listeners. Not your listeners, though.
Oh, I'm sure some of our listeners are assholes. I don't doubt that at all. I mean, I'm
trying to pander, and you're not helping.
What? I don't pander.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I mean, some of you out there may be assholes. You might be nodding your head saying, yeah, I'm a total asshole.
And
it's
we're
cool.
grateful for every single listener that we have.
I like assholes who listen. It's awesome. Listen all you do. Stick things in your butt while you listen, too. That's awesome, too.
So assholes sticking things in their assholes.
I think that is the only way you should deal with an asshole. Stick things in it.
Then you fall into the infinite asshole paradox. Which
I like this.
Can make the universe cave in.
Or expand like fisting a butt. Bam.
Kinky astrophysics.
What?
Have you ever had a fist in your butt?
I have never had a fist in my butt.
Would you ever have a fist in your butt?
Maybe the right fist.
If your mistress asked you.
If my mistress wanted me to take a fist.
She has a very small fist. We just want to, throw that out for you and your mistress.
You do have a remarkably small fist.
She does have a very small fist.
It's okay.
Although your mistress probably has a small fist too. She has really dainty hands.
She does have very dainty hands. And if there were going to be a fist inside of me, it would be her.
Exactly.
Fair. I mean, and obviously if she would like a fist, it should be her fist. I mean,
Right, exactly. I mean, I really
Don't be greedy.
I really hope she lets us watch, but,
I'm with you on that too.
I mean, because that's a pretty specific kind of pain.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other category. Anal's a whole other
level
category.
4? It's different altogether. Adding a whole new category now.
Well, for me, I'd put that in category 1, personally, that kind of pain. I've always liked that kind of pain. But it's different because it's not just pain. It's pleasure at the same time.
True.
And especially if, you're hitting the prostate at the same time.
Right.
And that's pure pleasure right there.
It's true. It's documented.
Medical fact.
Nobody can see you doing
awesome.
these things. So
Back in the old days when we didn't have video, all these things they couldn't see. I was me being a sadist.
Unacceptable.
Totally acceptable. Totally acceptable.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think that that this episode has inspired me to think of things to do to you Friday.
Oh,
You're welcome.
damn you.
And you'll do them for me because it's me.
And you're not wrong about that.
I know. Which means I have to have the original idea that I was having over dinner. I'm going to have to bench it for another day.
Damn it. Because
Or
that one.
see if I can, I don't know, different position. It's awesome. We'll figure it out. I don't know.
No, but now I want.
I think she wants.
Greedy bitch. Well, you know what? That's all the time we have.
That
Really?
is.
I know. Time flies, doesn't it?
Wow.
Doesn't it?
That was really fast.
First off, thank you so much for coming in, Slave Brian, and please thank your mistress for
Absolutely.
allowing it.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Very happy.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. This was good. I like talking about kind of pain and pain processing. And I still don't have adequate information, but I'm always asking people questions.
Well, you don't have adequate information because I think because you haven't ever experienced subspace, and that's something that's really hard to make into an abstract thing where you would be able to understand. Not abstract, but you know what I mean.
Concrete.
Yes.
Yes, because it is abstract. I understand the abstract of it. It is the concrete that I do not, which makes sense. Like, you trying to describe being in love. How do you describe that? Because it's, insanity. We are Intellectual Kink. So, subscribe to us on the iTunes and then do it on I guess there's going to be a YouTube channel, not just for us, but for Skidrow Studios. Review us, follow us at Kinkellectual. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Insidious Muse.
And I'm at Service Slut.
Do you have a Twitter you would like to shout out?
I do not twit.
All right. That's cool. And we're hoping to have more guests on next week. Potentially talking about 24/7 or, whatever. We've got a lot of topics this year that'll be awesome.
And we'll be revisiting like some of our older topics just because, you know, like people change and stuff. And so like our opinions may have changed significantly on some of those things.
Amen. But, you know, keep listening and we'll have video so you can see the weird things that we do with our hands. Rah!
And please review us because we love feedback and we love giving you what you want. So if there's something in particular that we have totally glossed over and you'd like to hear more about, please let us know and we'll work it in somehow.
We'll service top you for that. Good night, all.
Good night.